Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Soul Chat Saturdays on the Soul Uninhibited podcast. It's your host, MYWYA. And if you're new here, we're glad to have you. Thanks for showing up. Here on this Soul Uninhibited podcast, we kind of get into the nitty gritty of things. Let's talk about the things that we don't like to talk about, or we don't know to talk about it, or that, we don't know that other people are going through. Let's lay it out here on the table and let's dig into it. So this week, I want to talk about being alone and not being lonely. So we kind of touched on this last week when I had my co-host Jules on the show, and we kind of got into, loneliness a little bit and self-love and how to not end relationships when we want connection. So let's now talk about a little side sweep on that. Let's talk about how for those who like to be alone, those of us self-proclaimed introverts that like to be alone, that don't mind our own company, are we really loving ourselves in this space? Are we really connecting with ourselves in this space? Shout out to Till Swan. She has a video about being alone, or I think it's like a little clip from one of her synchronicity conferences. And she mentions that being alone is not necessarily a normal trait. It's more of a kind of like a trauma response, because you don't feel like you can have other people and have yourself. So you feel better alone because you feel like you can be the most authentic self, your most authentic version. And that is just a dysfunctional dynamic that people share between each other, that we don't either feel comfortable around each other, or we don't feel like we can be authentic around each other. And we don't allow others to be authentic around us because we have judgments and we have preferences, and we have things that we don't like about other people. And so other people can't be comfortable being themselves. So most people, those of us who feel like we can't be authentic around other people, we tend to gravitate towards being alone, and it actually feels good to us. It actually feels like a progress to us. Like we need to be alone, and we tend to be, when we're alone, we tend to be our most authentic self, exploring subjects that we like to explore, dancing, doing things that are true to our soul. So that's just a little caveat about that. So think about it in your own personal life. Do you find that you prefer to be alone? And if you do you think that it could possibly be because you don't feel like you can be your true authentic self around other people? Even if those people, don't make you feel any type of way, maybe you don't know how to be authentic. Maybe you have some things in your childhood that kind of kept you from being your authentic self. And so you just make that assumption in every type of relationship or every type of social dynamic. So really explore that within yourself. So now that you've explored that and you've come to the conclusion like, yeah, maybe I don't know how to be around other people and feel like I can truly be myself. Or, yeah, maybe I do prefer to be alone, and that I just really like that. And nothing's wrong with that. We're just calling it out for what it could be, right? So for those of us who went ahead and did that self-assessment and we like to be alone, now I want to ask you, how is the quality of your alone time? What do you do in your alone time? How much time do you actually spend with yourself without some type of stimulus, without your phone, without any substances, without the need to create or to draw or to express yourself in any way. Have you ever just sat alone and just be? And if you really said yes, I applaud you. And then I want to take it a step further. Are you connecting with yourself in that space? Are you really being present right now? Most people who spend their alone time and are good with their alone time are not actually alone. They're forming relationships to the things that are around them. So they may be alone on their computer. They may be alone on their phone. They may be alone with a video game or with their pet or with, some type of artistic modality. They may be alone with the TV. They're not truly alone. They have relationships happening. It's just that these relationships are giving ones to where that person can be their most authentic self and not feel like they're compromising anything about themselves. So I want to kind of talk about this because those of us who are okay with being alone, we have a rare opportunity to actually connect deeply to ourselves. And I'm talking about the level 3 of self-love. If you want to know more about the other levels of self-love, check out my YouTube video called Self-Love, the many levels of self-love, I believe. And I may have done an episode on the podcast about the levels of self-love. So we're talking about level 3 self-love and specifically the present self-love. So on the level 3, just to recap, if you haven't seen those things, I definitely recommend you do. But if you haven't seen it, on level 3, we talk about love of our past self, our present self, and our future self. And now the past and the future, those are the easiest to love, meaning that you can think back over your past and forgive yourself for certain things, make sense of certain things, let go of certain things, rescue your inner child. All those things live in the past, and there is a roadmap to loving yourself in the past. You have your future. Where are you headed in life? Who are you becoming? What are your goals? What are your plans? What is your vision for your life? Those are things to fall in love with as you discover more about yourself and get more sound in who you are and where you're going. You can love the vision that you have for your life and the goals that you have for yourself. So you can start to fall in love with that future self. But the present self is the hardest to love because, one, we don't know how to do that. Again, watch the video. We talk about level 1 and level 2 levels of self-love. So we think we know how to love ourselves in the present moment based on those level 1 and level 2 levels, but we don't know how to really connect with ourselves right now. There's a gap between our true core souls that are just always here in the eternal present and our mind who is doing things in order to actually connect with ourselves. So there's a distinct difference there. Our minds are trying to conceptualize the present moment. So we do things like we go see a movie, we do a self-care day, we take a mental health day, we go and dance. Like our mind has come up with ways to love ourselves in the present moment, but we're still not with ourselves. We're doing something. We are exuding energy. Everything is outside of us. Versus what I'm really trying to get at is loving yourself right now. So not working yourself, not doing a self-care. You may be in the worst mood ever. You may be completely the opposite of where you're trying to go and for your future. You may be frustrated with yourself or your circumstance. You may even hate yourself. And you can still love yourself in those spaces by giving yourself the attention. So if you hate yourself right now, it's like, okay, I hate myself right now. And don't make it a problem. You just say it out loud what you want, or say it in your mind, but make it plain for yourself. Don't just feel it, but put some words behind it. Okay, so I hate myself right now. All right, I see that about myself, and that's what I feel right now. And even that small acknowledgement of honesty shifts how you feel. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room and a little bit of a break, because you're no longer teetering over the edge. You allow yourself to fall over the edge by admitting what is actually true for you right now. So instead of numbing that feeling out that you may hate yourself right now with watching TV or being on your phone or trying to dance it away and trying to make yourself feel better, you just say where you are right now. I hate myself right now, or I'm upset right now, or I'm sad, or I'm lonely right now, or I'm, whatever, fill in the blank that you're feeling that does not feel good. And that's a good starting point. You can also do this when you're in a positive mood to connect with your true present self. Wow, I feel very good right now. Like, I feel very clear right now. I feel very healthy. I feel very energetic. And just take a moment to see yourself right now. I'm going to keep saying these things throughout the whole entire episode because I'm trying to emphasize the fact that this is a millisecond of acknowledgement. As fleeting as seconds are, it's like, right now, this is how I feel. And that acknowledgement, and that, I say that even in my intro, right? The acknowledgement of our true core self is rarely present. So you need to acknowledge it right now where you are. So today, to give you an example, today I feel pretty good. I had a tough week this week, but right now in this current moment, I feel good. I feel like I have more work to do. I feel a little bit overwhelmed in that sense. I feel good talking to y'all. I feel good right now flowing with this conversation because I really didn't know what I was going to come on here and talk about because there's so much happening in the world. So I'm glad that I can get this conversation out. And that's how I'm feeling right now. I feel pretty good. I feel good. I feel okay, right? And as I'm saying that and I'm speaking what I'm feeling right now in this moment, I feel like a release. I feel like I don't have to hold on to something energetically in order to either deny it or to just, really it's more denial, So really check in with yourself right now and say it out loud and admit to yourself. How are you feeling? And there's no issue. You could be hating somebody else. You could be having these low level, low vibe emotions, and it's all as well. It is perfectly okay that you are feeling this way. And it's perfectly okay to admit it out loud that you feel this way. You could say it to a friend or a family member. You can say it to your pet. What are you feeling right now? You can write it down in your journal, and see if you feel a difference inside of yourself. Like you created some space to be, because that's what you exactly just did. And you'll see also how your mood shifts and it feels even better. So even when you're feeling good, you can feel even better by doing this exercise. Don't block yourself out or numb yourself out with things to do something, and just be. Just be. And you'll see the difference. It feels so good. So I wanted to pose that question. What is the quality of your alone time? How are you feeling about that? Do you find yourself that you have to have some type of stimulus when you're alone? Like you feel like, where's my phone at? Or like, my computer won't work, it's freezing, Or for my spiritual folks out there, maybe you're pulling tarot cards and you feel like you need to pull some tarot cards. Like, just stop and just be for a second. And check in with yourself. So let me know. You can always contact me at MYWYA or tribe at MYWYAtribe.com. You can find me on YouTube at MYWYA Tribe. MYWYA is spelled MYWYA. Let me know how you feel about this topic. Let me know if you have any suggestions on other topics that you want me to cover. And connect with me. Go ahead and rate this podcast wherever you're listening to it. Give it a thumbs up, 5 stars. Share it with somebody that you love. If you feel like they'll benefit from it, let them know so that I can just reach more people, especially if you're feeling the way that I do this content and understand my intentions. So that is it for Soul Chat Saturdays this week. How was your alone time? How are you doing? How are you? Let me know. I want to know. Let's talk about it. All right. I will talk to y'all next week. Happy journeying.